Hey guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Brooke and it's so good to have you here. I'm 28 weeks and 4 days pregnant right now, and I did a Q&A. Sorry, I'm gonna like reset you guys up here. I was doing an ASMR video. Long story. I also do that on this channel, so if you're new here, that is something that I do. Check it out. Maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't, and that's okay. But yeah, I did a Q&A kind of on Instagram the other day where I just answered all of everybody's questions and I stuck them in my pregnancy highlight reel. So if you want to go see the actual responses that I made then yeah, just pop over to my Instagram and check those out. But I thought that you guys asked some really good questions about natural birth, about the birth center that I'm going to, about how I'm feeling as a pregnant person, soon-to-be new mom, and I just thought that it was all really interesting, so I wanted to kind of go more in depth and yeah, talk to you on video format about it. So without further ado, let's just kind of get into the questions that I was asked about a natural birth and give you some insight and some of my own personal experiences. So, one person asked, why is there not a doctor? Because at the birth center that I'm going to, doctors actually aren't on site. If you do need a doctor, if you need some type of emergency or medical intervention, then we just pop me over to the hospital right down the road and then we take care of it there. But at the birth center that I'll actually be laboring and delivering in, there is no doctor because birth center births, they wouldn't allow me to give birth there if there was a sign of risk. And of course, all pregnancies and all births are risky, but they're not, like, you know, some pregnancies are riskier than others for one reason or another. And if I were having any symptoms or if I had any pre-pregnancy issues like anorexia or even like anything like that, they would not allow me to give birth there. I would have to go to a hospital just in case. But if you are birthing at a birth center, chances are your pregnancy is super low risk and intervention by a doctor is rarely needed. So that's why there's not going to be a doctor on site, but I will have a midwife and a doula present. A midwife is a certified nurse midwife. A lot of the midwives who are at the birth center used to be nurses in hospitals, but now they're midwives at the birth center just because they liked it better for their own reasons. And then a doula is like a birth coach. So she doesn't catch the baby, she doesn't do any of the medical stuff, she's just kind of there for me and helps me with whatever I need her to do. So, somebody asked how often I go to the doctor. I see a midwife every 4 weeks, but I have not been to a doctor ever during this pregnancy. I did have one appointment where a doctor was present, and it was for my 20-week ultrasound, and he was there just to make sure that everything was developing correctly, that he couldn't see any abnormalities, that there were the correct amount of chambers in the heart, and, you know, all of those things that I could never do. And so I did see him for that for like 10 minutes. But otherwise, I have not seen a doctor this pregnancy. Who are you going to have in the room during your birth? Well, so far, we're planning on my mom, my boyfriend's mom, and my boyfriend's little sister. It's her first time being an aunt, so she's very excited, and I am totally cool with having all of them in the room. I'm cool if anybody wants to come in the room as of right now. Like right now, I'm just like, you get to be in the room, and you get to be in the room, and we're all in the room! But, the fact of the matter is, I might change my mind, and when the time comes, I might just be like, you guys need to GTFO because I need some privacy, you know, but that's what me and my boyfriend are totally comfortable having them in there. But even he might change his mind and be like, you know what, I just want this to be between us, and that's okay too. What are you most nervous about being a mom or co-parenting? So as weird as this might sound, I'm really worried about the lack of sleep part of being a new mom because I've never functioned well on very little sleep. If I just sleep every night, I will wake up, my body will naturally wake up after 9 or 10 hours, but no earlier than that. I'm not somebody who can function off of 6, 7, 8 hours of sleep. I'm just not. And so I'm just a little nervous for that part, to be honest. And we're just gonna have to figure it out as we go. I know I can do it. It's just very daunting, the idea of not getting very much sleep, or sleeping, but for very short amounts of time per sleep. But then with me and CJ, I'm not worried about co-parenting with him very much, because on all of the big things, we're pretty much unified. Like vaccinations, our views are unified. Discipline, our views are unified. Entertainment, our views are unified. So we really agree on pretty much everything, except like our ideals as human beings. We're totally opposite. I'm a vegan, he's not. He's a Republican, I'm not. We're polar opposites in that way, so I don't think that I'm worried so much about parenting with him, like being an issue. I'm worried more like as the kid gets older, but then again, that's a long time from now, and his views might change on things, my views might change on things, and we might be more aligned in the future. You never know. And I also think that this is absolutely, I want to preface this by saying there is nothing wrong with this. And you might think that it's wrong, you might think it's messed up, but just remember that he was raised differently than you were, if you completely disagree with him. And his point of view is affected by the state he grew up in, his family, his role models, his friends, where he went to school, what shows he watched as a kid. Like, all of those things make up who a person is. And so he's not wrong for thinking this. He's just different than I am. So he also, I don't think we'll have a problem with our girl because we're having a girl. But if we have boys in the future, that's where I foresee more of a problem, because I am somebody who's like, I want to talk about your feelings. I am super hippie-like, and I'm like, be kind to animals, be kind to other people. Tell me how you're feeling. Why are you feeling that way? What can I do to help you? Like, that crying is okay, and that you should never be embarrassed about being yourself in any way. And he has more of the mindset of, suck it up, don't cry, rub some dirt in it, don't be a sissy, like that kind of thing. So with our girl, I think it's fine for if she's a sissy, you know what I'm saying? But he would want, since he's a boy, he grew up a boy, he would want his boy to grow up the same way he did, with like the same thought process that he has. And so he would be like, don't cry, don't be a baby, maybe. I don't know. That's what I foresee happening, but again, that wouldn't be for another, like, years and years down the road, because we're not gonna have a baby right away, and then, like, that baby, if it were a boy, we wouldn't be having these conversations until, you know what I'm saying? So all my worries are so far down the line that, like, they don't exist right now, you know what I mean? And again, I don't think that he's wrong for thinking those things. I think that he's not right, but it's not that I think he's a bad person for, like, he even thinks that I'm a sissy, you know, sometimes, and it's not wrong, it's just different. Are you nervous? Yeah, yes and no. For some parts, like, I'm not nervous about taking care of the baby in itself, because I've been working with children for so long that, like, I already have my own, like, tips and tricks and, like, things that I know what to do and what to avoid, and, like, I know what products are great, and I know every baby is different, but I know in general, like, the ins and outs, but I've never done it myself for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, never getting a break, so that I am very worried about. Because it's just different. It's going to be a completely new life. And no matter how exhausted I am, no matter how depressed I am, or anxious, or pissed off at CJ, like, no matter any of that, I still have to be a mom, and that's freaky. Yeah, so I am a little scared of that, but like for giving birth, I'm not too scared. I think it's either going to be way better or way worse than I think it's going to be, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know what to expect. I just feel like it'll be fine. And like, I'll go in and everything will kind of go to plan, and I'll figure it out, and like, it'll just, I'll birth the baby. And so I think it'll either be like even easier than that, to where it's like, oh, wow, this was not as hard as I thought it was, and I stayed calm, and I played good music and sniffed essential oils, and this bath is lovely. Like, it'll either be like that, or it'll be like, holy shit, this is the worst thing ever. I need to go to the hospital. Get me there now, I need an epidural. Like, I think it'll go like one of both ways. Or maybe it'll be just like this pregnancy has been extremely uneventful. You just have a baby. I don't know. But I know it has been super nice to be able, like, what's given me a lot of comfort is being able to be in control of the situation, and being able to kind of decide certain things that I want and plan as much as I possibly can. But as my therapist always tells me, that you're never fully in control. You might feel like you're in control, but you're not. Life is in control, and you can plan all you want, but at the end of the day, what's going to happen is going to happen. So, but it has given me some comfort to have had an appointment with my doula that lasted 4 hours, where we talked about, what if this happens? What if that happens? Are you okay with this? Give me a safe word. Give me, like, all of those things have made me feel very confident that I know what to expect, and I'm going to be able to smash this thing, and it's going to be great. So, yeah. Why did I choose a birth center? That I did, I have control issues. I like to be, this is just me being transparent with you guys, I like to be in control of a lot of aspects of my life. Being with CJ has made that very difficult, because he also likes to be in control. And so I have let go of a lot of that. In my previous relationships, specifically one of them, I was like in control the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was the one who decided things, and I was like the one who made plans, and like, not in like an abusive way, but just he was very passive, and I was like very assertive. And then being with CJ, I've had to really kind of change that mindset a lot, because I've had to accept that I can want what I want, and I can tell him what I want him to do, but at the end of the day, he's going to do whatever he wants, because that's just the type of personality that he is, just like me. So I have been able to let go of control in some areas of my life, but not all of them. And I still do like being as in control as I possibly can in every situation, and especially because I have anxiety, it just helps me to feel like I've got a grasp on things, you know what I mean? So I don't know if that makes any sense. It probably just makes me sound like a nutcase, but I feel like in a hospital, I would have felt like I was not in control. I wouldn't have felt like I had the freedom to say, no, I don't want to give birth laying on my back. I want to give birth, on my hands and knees, or I want to give birth like, they don't have a bathtub there that I can labor in. Like, you know what I mean? There are just different aspects of it that I probably wouldn't have felt safe to say, no, I don't want my baby to have the vitamin K shot. No, I don't want like any of those things. And at a birth center, it's pretty much like I'm in control of all of it and whatever I'm comfortable with. So I liked that a lot. I liked that aspect of it, and that I could do, sorry, my foot's asleep, that I could do my own research and decide what I thought was best for the baby, and that I could delay the cord clamping, that I could, what else am I doing? That I could bring my placenta home in a cooler on ice. Like, you know what I'm saying? All of those like hippy dippy natural things that I liked that I had the freedom to be able to do that. And even though you technically do have that freedom in a hospital setting, I feel like myself personally, I wouldn't have felt comfortable saying, please don't do this. You know what I mean? Yeah, because I would feel like, oh, I'm the patient. Instead of at the birth center, I'm like, I run this shit. You know, like that's how they kind of make you feel. So, yeah. So I guess that's really, oh, and also I am a vegan. I am, you know, a little bit of a hippie, or at least I have some hippie ideals, and they're totally cool with that. Like, they don't have medications there. They don't have epidurals. They don't have any of that, you know, good stuff for the pain. So, they're really hippy dippy when it comes to that. And people have asked me, does that scare you, not being able to get an epidural? And the answer is no. It does not scare me because it's not something I've ever wanted. And I know that from my mom's personal experience, she did get an epidural with me, and she ended up regretting it. She still regrets it to this day because she ended up only laboring for another 4 hours before I was delivered. And she was like, if I had only known that it would have been only 4 hours, I never would have gotten that epidural, but it just seemed like it was so far away and I was in so much pain. And so I want to avoid getting an epidural as long as I possibly can. So yeah, but anyway, you guys, I'm just gonna cut it off there. I have blabbered on long enough. I hope that you don't mind that I'm wearing the same outfit and I'm in the exact same setup as like 2 or 3 of my other videos. I just want to push out some good videos for you guys, and when I'm inspired like this and I've got my makeup did, I just want to just like film. I don't even want to like take breaks to charge the camera or change my clothes. So I hope that that's okay with you guys and that you enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you a little bit more insight on like what a natural birth is. Oh, and if you're wondering, should have said this in the beginning, but a birth center is basically the in-between of a home birth and a hospital birth. It's a place where there are certified nurse midwives, there are doulas, there are people there, and you're at another place that's not your home, but you're a lot more in control of the situation, just like you would be at home. It's a lot more natural, just like it would be at home. And yeah, it's just there aren't doctors and all that medical equipment, and like you don't stay at the hospital, or you stay at the hospital for a couple days after you give birth, whereas at a birth center they actually send you home within 4 hours, 4 to 6 hours after you give birth. So it's very different from both environments, because yeah, if you do a home birth, you're already at home, you know, they just leave right away if you have anybody there. And I think with a home birth as well, my uncle had one, and he said that they were required by law to have, I'm not sure the legality on all this, but he said that they had to have an ambulance outside the house on hold, basically, in case something were to go wrong. So, whereas a birth center, usually they're located pretty close to a hospital, so if you do have an emergency, you can drive there really quickly or be transferred there pretty quickly. So, it's just a nice in-between. They do have some laughing gas available, so they've got a little something, but that's about it. And yeah, it's a lot more laid back, it's a lot more natural, and it's just for people who have very low risk pregnancies, who just want to kind of do things their own way. So that's what I'm doing, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you want more content about my pregnancy or about my baby or anything like that, give this a thumbs up. Let me know what you thought down in the comments below, or if you have any further questions about this topic, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!